Anna Maria is my guest today, and she is a business coach helping female coaches and consultants get clients without websites, funnels, or ads, just simple connection that converts. A farmer cook turned stay-at-home mom of three, Anna built her business from scratch and has spent the last 6 years helping women replace confusion with clarity and doubts with clients. She's family-oriented, straightforward, and passionate about making business simple and profitable for women who want freedom. I'm excited to introduce you to Anna. So, Anna, I'm so happy to have you here today. I saw one of your posts on Facebook, which is what spurred this whole conversation coming about. And you had mentioned something about being in the in between. And it so resonated with me because I wanted to ask you about this in between stage. And it struck something in me. Why do you think this space between who we were and who we're becoming feels so uncomfortable yet so necessary?
Oh, wow, great question. Jen, well, actually, first, I wanted to say thank you for having me here. I'm very honored to be here with you today. And I'd love to exactly you reached out again. We had a little bit of a conversation. And so, really glad that I'm able to share a little bit of my insights with your viewers and who's listening today. What is it for me? That in between of the identity for me, well, I'm kind of going back and thinking of the old emotion. Going back, is always difficult a little bit. Um, that moment when you're changing over the in between is really when well, for me, it was when I was letting go of the old Anna into the new, and there's like a lot of fear in there.
Mhm.
There's a lot of fear of what I'm going to lose, who I'm going to lose, especially family, your important people around you. And so that in between for me was that, was that, and continues to be because we're always growing and changing. So when I had the realization, and just not long ago, because I didn't really realize those in betweens were really happening until you really sit and go through it. So and actually like really be aware of what's happening and I say all the time dissect the situation.
Mhm.
um it's really for me was important to when I'm making a decision or next step that I'm really now aware if my identity that in between is matching
That's
is
good.
matching. Yeah. And so for me, that in between at that time, and still continues to be, you still have that questioning. It's like, who's gonna, you know, come with me, or I'm gonna lose somebody, or I lose a piece of me.
Mm.
That question still comes around when I'm leveling up or changing something about my situation or where I am, what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I just wrote a midlife reinvention mini course, and it was because I had just found myself in the last 2 years. Menopause, I think, has a lot to do with it too. Just because I felt like I changed so much during menopause. And I don't know if other women experience that or not, but for me, it was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna really take control of my life. Like, I want to live my purpose. I want to inspire others. I want to just surround myself with like-minded women on a mission, I guess. And so that is my second question I want to ask you is many women in midlife, they feel this quiet nudge. And I wonder if like you felt that too. It's towards something more, but they
Mhm.
don't have language yet for what that more is. From your experience, what usually keeps women from trusting that nudge and taking the first step towards a fuller life?
Yeah, well, for me, when this happened about 6, 7 years ago, you come to that point of, I think like we call it the rock bottom, that lowest point of our life, and I just knew something had to change. Like no more of this, not one day, not 1 hour, just I cannot do this anymore. And again, I just didn't know what that was. I didn't know. I didn't know. And I think most women just don't know what that is. And so the only thing I said to myself, I don't want this life. I don't want to be like this anymore. I don't want, to live like this anymore. So, um, what I did was the only thing that I could do was what can I do different than what that Anna was? I started to look at myself and I just started to say, okay, well, if Anna's very quiet, I'm going to start asking questions. And I didn't know that where that was going to lead me.
Mhm.
And I think what happens is a lot of women that like going back to your question why they don't go into it is the fear of not knowing like what is that? Where are we going? What is that? Where are we going? We always need some sort of an answer,
Yeah,
some sort of
that's true.
reassurance of what we're doing, is what we're supposed to be doing.
Hmm.
And it's like easier to move forward if we know that's what it's going to be or how it's going to be. I just decided to make I said to myself, no more. And what that looked like was just starting to look at me. And I said,
Hmm.
okay. Like I said, I was very quiet back then. I was like at the back of the corner of the room, just agreed with everyone, never asked questions, just agreed, again with everyone and never really, challenged anything in my life. I just kind of always, okay, that's what it is and that's what it is. And that's where I started. Um, So yeah, with women is the fear. And it took me a while because I knew something was needed to change. And I knew I had to lean into that more, but I never really did until unfortunately you hit the like there is no way other than going up. And so I had to start doing something. And so
Yeah.
I think it's just the fear of not knowing, the fear of what to do, the fear of what's the next step? Like what is that?
Yeah. And I think, I'm so guilty of this too, is that I often focus on what I don't want. And then that consumes your life, that consumes your path that you go, is everything you don't want. But then when you really start to question, like, well, what do I want? And putting those in front of you, I feel like that is a good new map of where you're going. But even like getting used to, like you said, that uncomfortable, that fear, because just like on a journey in a car or whatever, you're going to be in the car for a while. And so
Mm.
it's like you're not going to arrive at your destination right away. There's going to be sheer drop-offs at points along your road, and if a bear runs across the street, or things are going to
Yeah.
happen. And it's like we have to kind of get used to that a certain amount of fear to when we're in that in between, right?
Funny that you say that question about we always tend to go to what we don't want, right? And I remember myself when I had that question asked to me, what do you want? I'm like, well, I don't want this, and this is like, and you go on that rant, and then I remember the person saying, I didn't ask you what you didn't want. I asked you what you wanted, and I
Mhm.
was like, wow, yeah, you're right. I just went on a rant of everything I don't want. What is it that I do want? And so at times we don't take the time, right, and sit and pause and like really say, okay, now I know every day I say I don't what I don't want. How about I just sit and see what I do want?
Yeah.
I, flip coin of that, Jen, as well. Is like sometimes we have to go through what we don't want to know what we do want.
Yeah.
It's like flip like a
Yeah.
double-sided sword. How do they say that? It's like, okay, we have to sit and see like what is it that we do want. But at the end of the day, most of the times we're here today from everything that I did on the other side that I didn't want to do. And now I'm able here to share, you know, the path where I'm at because I did everything that I didn't want to do. It's,
Yeah, I know.
kind of a,
And I hear from women all the time who are, our age. We both were stay-at-home moms. So in your bio, you were a stay-at-home mom, although you can cook, and I am not a good cook. I wish I could cook, um, but what I hear from women a lot of times is that they're very worried about what everybody else does want. and in there they lose what they wanted somewhere along the way. And I feel like that is kind of built into some people, maybe especially stay-at-home moms. I don't know, we just get so used to, being the leader of our family, and what do they want, what do they need. I don't know, I just wonder if that maybe resonates more with women who chose that path. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, that definitely resonates with me as well. uh, I don't know if it resonates for your listeners and watchers today, but yeah, I was a stay-at-home mom, which funny enough, I did some cooking. So in my area, it's very touristy, and I was just on the odd ends, like especially when it's high season. So I missed all my kids' first Christmas. I remember New Year's, just remembering now New Year's that just passed. My husband would bring all three kids to the restaurant and we just say Happy New Year's, and I was off, and doing that. But I was basically staying at home, and yeah, you just get into that cycle of let me do this for you, let me do this for you. And I remember myself, it was like if I serve others, that's really the goal. That's just part of life. And if you serve everything, I'm a good mom. I'm a good mom if I do everything for everybody else and just kind of followed, if the wind was blowing to the left and that's where I was going, the wind was blowing to the right and that's where I was going. And I never really had my own thing. It was just, okay, they said this, I'll just do that. And to get into the cycle where at a certain point, and I remember Oprah Winfrey saying this, listen to the whisper. If you don't, you're going to get a brick in your head or something like that, she says, right?
Mhm.
And I got more than like a brick, like a whole building on me because I wasn't listening to myself that, this is, yes, I'm a mom and I want to be the leader and help my kids, but I got lost. I got
Mhm.
lost and it will come back. Like for me, it came back. It took 15 years, but it did come back. And that's when I had the downfall 6, 7 years ago
Yeah.
where I didn't find myself and I was just everything that I had created was on everyone else's belief, on everyone
Hmm.
else's asks. And I
Yeah.
was like, at one point I looked at myself in the mirror, I'm like, who is that?
Yeah.
Like, what? Wait, who is that? Um,
Mhm.
and so yeah, I think we just get lost in the cycle of
Yeah.
trying to be the good, being a good mom. It's not because we want to be bad, by the way. It's not like the intention of serving and all that. It's no way we want to be bad. It's just maybe our society bringing up culture, religion, whatever that is behind us said, hey, like for me, it was a lot of culture in bringing up from like the families, like, good moms do this. And I'm like, I want to be the best mom. So I served even more,
Yeah.
did more. So I'm like, if I do more, then I'm going to like get the award, it's
Yeah.
right. And you
No,
just, we get
I
lost.
love that. Yeah, that's so good because a lot of people might find themselves at just the beginning stages where like you and I can look back and see how it all unfolded, and yes, it was worth it. And I just want to like motivate that woman who's like, wait, something about that is it's stirring like something in me. And so what do I do next? And I feel like it is that embracing the fear and just getting in touch with who you are. I did the same exact thing. I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh my gosh. Like I actually had to do this exercise where I looked in the mirror and I was like, I trust you. I trust you. And it felt weird to say it, but I was like, it's so important to trust yourself, and to listen to that whisper is the only way that you start building your trust in yourself. I feel like it was a pivotal turning point for me, just that one little statement. You help women coaches regain confidence and get unstuck. What do you notice is usually holding women back when they feel a calling for more but hesitate to step into it?
Yeah, it's identity. I have to say, always comes down to the self. Surface wise, when I'm talking and connecting with these beautiful female coaches, the initiative is okay, I need a new strategy. Like there's something you got, just tell me what I need to do and I'll do it. And yes, it's strategy. There's a lot of pieces to it. At the end of the day, it really comes down when we go and unpack everything. It's the self. It's they still haven't embodied, um, the fact that I am a coach. I can help others. I've had an experience. And so when we unpack that, that's what we find out. That the steps that they aren't taking, it's not that, we're full of information. We know, the content or the next steps, or, I give them amazing step-by-step processes. And they find out it's like, well, I don't know. Who wants to listen to me? Who wants to, and we unpack that it's identity, the
Yeah.
beliefs. And so what happens is when your identity, your beliefs don't match what you're doing, you actually simultaneously, like subconscious, you take the actions aligned with that identity. So if you fully have an embodied and self-trust and believe that, yes, I am a coach, then you're going to be taking actions of the identity that you actually believe in. And that's what it comes down to.
I mean, we hear about mindset all the time, but it is so important to get a hold of your mindset. I think that's one of the best things about working with a coach is to figure out, like what you want, who you are, what you want to become, and then also to kind of be there holding your hand and navigate you through, like, keep coming, because that journey does get hard, that in between thing. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about that. The in between part. So especially after changing an identity that you realize, like, this identity, it feels like a coat that no longer fits, or something like that. The hardest part is not the ending, it's the waiting. So what did the in between teach you about yourself?
Yeah, what did it teach me about myself? This is honestly, and again, it's just like lately as I'm unpacking myself, like what's happening is the waiting. Actually, now when again in just lately, I've stopped saying stepping into,
Mhm.
and I'm going to share why in a second. Because I found that that waiting part needs to become immediately embracing I am.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, because when you think about the waiting, the in between, right now, especially it's the new year, goals, resolutions, I'll step into the new year, step. And when you think about stepping into, you're really not embodying what you're stepping into. You're saying, okay, I'm going to step into it. You're saying, well, I'm stepping into it. You're
Yeah.
giving yourself that gap.
Mm.
You're leaving room to actually that wait, which you give room for procrastination. And so a lot of us, just what happened to me was I was never actually stepping. I'm going to step into, I'm stepping, and it left that room for me not to do it. So what I learned from actually the waiting is not to wait, was to just claim what I'm doing this year. Okay, I am going to lose the weight. I am whatever that is. I am, the mom. I just, because it's different. It's a different perspective. It's a different energy from I am to the waiting, the
Yeah.
stepping to. So that's what I learned, the in between is I figured the less that I wait and I just embody and become before I became. I am this year. I am the coach. I am the fitness mom or whatever you want to step into this year. But again, the step into, right? Like what you want to become. Because even
Yeah.
myself, I've been catching myself with the step into because it left me with that waiting.
Yeah,
So
I
the
love that
way,
you caught that though. Like, because I can see that, I feel the difference in the words and the way you're explaining it. It makes sense to me. And so, yeah, the waiting, it kind of makes you feel still a little helpless. Like you're just waiting for something to happen. Whereas the other one is like you're taking authority over something. Yeah, I love that. That little tiny shift makes a huge difference.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's yeah how I turned over the waiting because the waiting is a little bit that tyranny of the waiting is like when does this
Yeah.
happen? So I just decided to claim it. It's already
Yeah.
done. It's done. And then therefore what happens is you start taking action even that you don't notice. There's some intentional like you are very aware of what you do. then all of a sudden you're doing things that go towards that without
Mhm.
waiting to become that identity. I just claim it already this year. I'm just claiming it, and that's it. And so therefore, if I'm already claiming that I'm $1 million, what does $1 million coach do? A 250K coach, a 10K coach, what does she decide to do? And so therefore, I'm already making decisions because I already claimed it, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm a healthy person, I go work out, well, I'm not going to have chips. I'm probably going to be eating salad. And it's
Mhm.
just an unconscious decision because I already claimed it. I already claimed this year I'm going to be putting on muscle, or, whoever that is wants to lose weight. I already claimed it. It's done. So then therefore I act accordingly. Like I align with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
That I agree with that too. I mean, this is my year of like health too. And as soon as I set my mind to it, it was like the pounds started coming off. And I couldn't lose it before. It was I swear it had to be a mindset thing because it was all of a sudden pounds started coming off when they didn't before. So the mind is so powerful. Yeah.
Hmm.
Crazy. This is really cool because you said that 2026, the new currency is connection. And I love that. So, how do you define connection in a way that feels nourishing and not transactional? And what exactly do you mean when you say this is the year of connection?
This is their connection. Well, we know AI is coming all over the place, and
Yeah.
especially we had those years of COVID that if you think about it, it's far away, but it seems like it was just yesterday.
Mhm.
People are craving connection.
Yeah.
And the way I create the connection in my spaces, I really embody the concept of being a good host. I think we really forgot about, maybe with again COVID, there's been a little bit of that separation, but having those, people over your house, little parties, little get-togethers. And I remember when I had those, I was the best host, and I would just make sure everyone was doing well, everyone felt at home, they knew where the hors d'oeuvres were, they had the drinks, they know where the bathroom was, they knew, where, and you would just work the room. And then you would go one by one, make sure everyone was connecting. And so I thought to myself, how can I connect that it doesn't become a transaction? And I remembered about the host. And I said, how can I be a great host in my space and have a great party, right? Like, think about it. The best parties isn't because of the party, it's because the host was amazing. The host
Yeah.
was amazing. And so that's my go-to forward this year in connection is how can I be a great host? How can the people that fall in my space, wherever that is, if it's in my profile, if it's in my community, how can I be a great host and make sure that they are served at the highest level and that, they're eating well, they're drinking well, they feel at home, they can open up and they're making new friends and they find a space where like, yeah, I love being in Anna's house. Like, she's just so great and everyone's so great and I love being here. We're gonna go over again. So when I have another party, they just want to come over. Right?
Yeah. That's a great analogy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're missing that a lot is remembering that really care about the people that step into your life, even if it's for one day, maybe it's for a month, maybe it's for years, but nonetheless, everyone should be treated um, at the highest level, you know. And we've forgotten about being a host, being a little bit, let's just care a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel that there has been a shift since COVID. People make eye contact less. Um, you know, it has changed interpersonal relationships, but it is important. Like we need it. We need to be in community with each other. We need to have people who encourage us and support us. And so I love that that's your goal. That's great. Tell me what you're working on next. What would you like the people listening to know about Coach Anna?
Right. Thanks. Yeah, what I'm working on next this year is definitely more connection. That's my word, authenticity, love, joy, bringing more playfulness in the coaching space, and definitely helping other women. I believe regardless, that's been one of my deep down missions for women to, regardless, again, if they're married or not, it's not about being single or divorced or in a relationship. They need to have their own independence
Mhm.
within their space. You know, I've been with my husband for 27 years and, you know, it's still him, we're still together, but I've created my own space. And I think it's the best, um, that's the best freedom for any woman to have their own independence within a relationship and not feeling like they have to always be dependent. So that's where it's going, helping more women, creating more impact. Again, bringing love, joy, more connection within the space, and that's where we're going. You know, that's where we're going this year with Coach Anna. There.
Yeah, I love that direction. So much of everything that you just talked about, we totally align on so much stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I was talking about, like, I've been with my husband 27 years also.
Oh, there you
Um,
go.
and in my mini reinvention course, we talk about, how you can change and still be married. Where can people find you? What's your best mode of contact for people following you or getting in touch with you?
Oh, definitely they can get in touch with me. I'd love to connect with everyone. If you're watching here and you know, DM me or I'm in Facebook, so
Okay,
check me
Facebook.
out on the profile. Friend request me, connect, DM me. Love to connect with all of you.
Perfect.
Yeah, I do actually Instagram as well, but I'm mostly in Facebook. So yeah, just reach out and let me know if you want to join the community. It's for female coaches. It's absolutely free. And you know, it's real women, real support. And you know, we love connecting in there and exchanging and supporting each other. So if you feel like that's for you, the community is there and it's open. Just reach out and I can give you access to that as well.
I look forward to just, hearing more from you all the time. You always are very encouraging. And so, yeah, thank you so much for being on my conversation on living your purpose.
Oh, thank you so much for having me here, Jen. My pleasure. Thank you so much.